What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Clemente Collector. And do you know how sometimes things happen in the hobby and you think to yourself, how in the world did this happen to me? That happened to me in the show, and it involves a Clemente 1968 Topps 3D card, my Grail card. And it involves another collector trading for one. The card was priced at $50,000, so it was essentially a $50,000 trade, and it was a really fun day at the show, and I actually got footage of it. So we're gonna look at that next.
Batting third, playing right field, number 21, Roberto Clemente.
This is a huge day for me from a collector perspective. I've been chasing this card for decades, 20 plus years. And it's the, from a Clemente collecting perspective, it is peak of the hill, top of the mountain, big time Clemente card.
So it all started with a fellow coming up to me at the show on Saturday. His name was Doug, and he came up to me and he said, "Hi, I know you're Theo. I watch your channel. My name's Doug. I'm a lurker on YouTube." And I said, "Oh, that's really awesome. Like, it's really nice to meet you, Doug." And he, he's telling me about, he collects Clemente and his collection, and it was really cool. And next thing you know, he said, "My friend Jason, he's looking for a 3D Clemente. Do you know if there's any at the show?" And I said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Are you serious that he actually wants to buy one?" And Doug's like, "Yeah, he does." And I said, "Actually, there's a dealer here, and they had 3 of them. I just don't know where their table's at." And he says, "Are you serious?" He's like, "I'm gonna call Jason right now and tell him." So he called Jason and told him, and me and Doug looked for almost an hour. I knew Nash Cards had the 3 cards, but Nash Cards weren't on the show map, so I wasn't 100% where their table was. We got lucky and we ran into the table. So then we called Jason. Jason was with Alan. So me, Doug, Jason, and Alan were all at the Nash Cards table. And that's where I'm going to start showing this footage right now of what started happening with the trade. After looking at the 3D Clemente cards in the case, Jason decided that he wanted to negotiate with Nash for the PSA 8 card that they had a $45,000 price tag on. So Jason approached the guy running the table there at Nash Cards, and he said, "Listen, I have $10,000. Would you be willing to trade for the other $35,000 in cards?" And the guy said, "I'm gonna have to call the owner of the company, but let's see what cards you have to trade." So let's pick up the video right there where Nash Cards is looking through the cards Jason had to trade.
It's probably somewhere between 14 and 16. I agree.
Yeah, the last 2 sold for 16.5 and 16.2.
Yeah.
And 21 and 22.
Yeah.
And then the 7's like 30,000.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Heritage sold one in 2022 for 16.2. The last sale. Card ladder, so they think it's worth.
Okay, so the first card that Nash Cards wanted to look at was the 1953 Topps Mickey Mantle card. It was a PSA 6.5. They wanted to possibly use that as one of the trade cards. So in this video you're looking at right now, Nash Cards and Jason are trying to figure out the appropriate price for this card. I did some research myself, and here are a couple of the prices I found. Here's one recent eBay sale of a 6. And then here is on the PSA website, here's recent 6.5 sales. And just since you can't really see the Mantle card that well, it is a freaking stunner. It's a beautiful card. But I'm going to take you guys back to the video.
About 15,000.
Yeah.
15.8. So we would look like value at about 15K.
Okay.
What's the Ruth?
believe it's comping right at 26,000.
So now the next card that Nash Cards picks out is his second biggest card in the box. It's a 1933 Galaxy card 149 Babe Ruth card in a PSA 4. And what's going on right now is Nash Cards is trying to work with Jason to figure out a comp for that card. I'm going to show on the screen also a recent eBay sale of that card in a 4. And now I'm going to also show recent sales on the PSA website of a 4. But before I go back to the video, one other thing that happened is the owner of Nash Cards got back to them and they said, if you're only going to use $10,000 cash, we would like to have $40,000 of card value. So basically $50,000 of value in the trade. So let's get back to the video.
I almost wonder if he would rather just take the big pieces, the big chunks. He sounded like death.
Yeah. Are you sick?
Yeah. Well, self-inflicted sick.
Oh, okay.
There's definitely something about having, like, I know he likes having
And that's a super nice root. That's like, from the presentation and color, it's really hard to find that nice.
like 52.
Yeah.
149. Yeah, actually the last one sold on a buy, 27,000 on a buy now, 25,000 in memory lane, 24 REA, 25 Heritage, 27 memory lane. So I had a guy last night offer 25 cash on it.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think it's right there, 25, 26. Yeah, it's got a little wrinkle on that bottom corner. If not for that, beautifully centered.
Yeah, and it's got great color.
Yeah.
Also, just noticed they're both old labels. Doesn't bother me. I know they'll update the labels. I just know that everyone who's going to look at them is going to try to use that to negotiate against us.
Did you hear what Nash Cards just said? They said both your cards have old labels. They said we don't mind it, but that's going to get used against us in a negotiation when we buy these cards. So I thought that was a really interesting thing that got brought up. The other thing about it is Nash Cards is a partner with PSA. They actually don't submit to SGC anymore. They only submit to PSA. So it was interesting it got brought up, but you would assume that it would be free or very cheap for them to get the cards crossed over to the new slabs. And then the other thing that got, as you saw in the negotiation is as Jason was negotiating with them as far as what the price should have been on the Babe Ruth, he brought up that somebody offered him $25,000 cash the night before for it. That was quick wit by Jason. I'm sure it was a true story, but that was really, I think, good for him to say that. I think it added value to the card right there on the spot.
But everyone else comments on it. I mean, we get 40 right there. Yeah. I mean, if it was my,
That's what
if it
I
was
would.
my deal, I'd be like, yeah, give me those. I think they're cheap. Because I like this card.
Let me send this to him.
Yeah, this card's been a lot of heartbreak for me because I've tried to buy it in the past, been to multiple auctions and got outbid, and in some cases I sold part of my collection to be able to bid on it and didn't win it, and so then I lost part of my collection, and it sucks because you really try to go in at it, and there's always someone.
When you sell a piece to acquire a piece, and that deal falls through. Yeah.
Because you always want the other thing in hand first, but when it's something so high dollar,
That's what I
you
like
can't.
about trades. It's like,
Exactly. Well, and those were auctions too. Like it was REA auction, and it's like I bid everything I had, and it was just I got outbid, and it's
That
like at that
sucks.
point you're just like,
What? I mean, I'm sure you did research before you came here.
Yeah.
You think that's a fair comp?
you know, I think it's
I know they don't sell it often. But
the way I look at it is, we talked about it before, 35 to 45 is what I was originally thinking.
Yeah.
But when you're doing a trade deal like this, you're going to give up some.
Yeah.
So
They need to make some money
Exactly.
reselling.
because they're going to have to hold more inventory. It's going to take them a little bit to sell.
It is kind of nice that they're only getting 2 cards back, you know?
Yeah. So it's, I mean, to me, this is like the simplest way to do a deal like this is to do it with bigger cards and then cash on top. But you know, these kind of cards are so rare that people generally want full cash. And that's really what I've run into too. Is I brought these. If I have to go and sell them and come back, I mean that's would suck. But for them, I think this kind of deal makes more sense for them because they're not getting a bunch of small cards. And these cards will sell.
Oh yeah,
these cards will sell.
that big Ruth has great eye appeal.
Yeah.
I mean the Mantle does too.
Yeah, it's just
Wow.
they're nice cards. So it's you can sell nice cards. Yeah, when I bought this card, I overpaid $1,000 for it at the time.
How long ago was it?
2018 at the National. Actually, it was
the beginning
2017.
of before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, yeah.
What did you pay in that?
65.
Okay. Wow. That thing, the pandemic really shot that thing
It
to the
did.
roof.
It did.
Same with the Mantle, depending on how long ago you bought it.
I don't need it.
So as you heard, me and Jason just started talking about how he acquired the cards, the Mantle and the Babe Ruth, and he actually said he bought the Babe Ruth in 2018 for $6,500, and he bought the Mantle card a while back, and he paid $2,500 for the Mantle card. So basically, those 2 cards cost him $9,000 cash years ago, but now, they had trade value of $40,000. So that's a really, really cool piece of this story is, maybe there's a Grail card out there that you don't know if you ever be able to afford, but hey, maybe some of your current collection could eventually, be traded to get that card. I know nobody ever wants to buy a card to, trade it for another card in the future, but it's just something to think about. And I thought that was really cool to hear Jason tell that story about, how it's really only $9,000 in cards to him, not the $40,000.
He says done deal.
Done deal?
Take a picture of it. I took a picture of it.
So there's the trade, guys. How much fun was that? Only at the National, huh? So Jason and Doug and Alan and me we just had a great moment at the National that I know I'll never forget it. It's just so cool seeing somebody else get the Clemente Grail card, and it was really cool to see a $50,000 trade go down. Obviously, if you haven't checked out Jason's channel or Alan's channel, I'll have their channels below in the description. But I thought it was fitting to end this video with Jason showing the card off and just talking about the experience himself. And it's really cool that I have a channel where I'm able to share something like this and be able to go back to it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll let Jason have that final word.
I had my own little cheering section with Theo, Alan, and Doug, and those guys are great. I really appreciate them being there and helping me, guiding me, helping me find the cards. And that's what it's all about, guys. The community coming together and helping each other. It was just like everyone was super excited about the deal because it was a win-win for everyone. And, the collectors themselves are just glad that a collector got something that they really wanted. And it worked out in the best way possible. And so here it is. This is the card. I'm going to try not to have it too, blingy, or bring it up as close as I can without glaring everyone. There we go. There it is.